God, I love talking about Oregon football. Of course, Dan Lanning always being kind of, with one positive thing, some things to always improve on. But I think it's really important that we talk about this running game. Bucky Irving, Jordan James, I think really changed the entire momentum of this game. What did you see from them that really helped Oregon out tonight?
Well, it was slow going at first. I mean, Washington State and their head coach, right, they're defensively mindset. And they were throwing a lot of different stunts. There was a lot of different people in the box. And Oregon being a zone running team, you're trying to create as many double teams as possible doing that. But when Washington State has so many different players in different gaps, it can be really hard to communicate. So they're on that second or third series. You saw Oregon kind of switch it up, go to some gap scheme runs, some pin and pull, some toss crack stuff, and then the big one was counter throughout the day, and they were really kind of able to get the offense going.
It's hard not to talk about an Oregon win without, of course, first mentioning Bo Nix, who was, again, I mentioned just a few moments ago, very, very efficient tonight, 18 of 25, again, 293 through the air, 2 tutties. He looked good. He was efficient when he needed to, made the big plays when he needed to. How impressive were you with his performance tonight when the Ducks really needed to get a win tonight?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me with Nix is kind of how far he's come here in his time at Oregon. I mean, from where he was as a quarterback at Auburn, right? It's kind of crazy to think of Bo as this very disciplined quarterback. I think the check down touchdown to Bucky is such a great example of that. I mean, he's got 2 deep posts. He's got a deep sail route. They are looking to push that ball vertical. It wasn't there. He takes the check down and something really, it's right there. Something really good ends up happening. That's the earlier one where he gets it to Ferguson. But he's just such a disciplined player. He doesn't put them in negative situations, and he's just become such a rock for them in the pocket.
Let's give some credit to Oregon's defense. They only allowed 16 points for a majority of that game, despite ultimately allowing 24 points. They held when they needed to hold. I know more than 400 yards through Cameron Ward. That was maybe something you want to clean up a little bit on the defense going forward, but they were impressive in some ways tonight. Ward is not a quarterback to underestimate. What do you see from the defense, especially the secondary?
Yeah, I mean, especially without Kyrie Jackson, thought the secondary did the best that they could. I mean, you're always going to have trouble. I mean, Washington State wants to throw the ball 50 times if they can, and so you're always going to give up some passing yards. I thought both the 4th down stops in the second half were excellent. You gave up the 1 touchdown in garbage time. You can't be too disappointed with that. There were a lot of contested balls throughout the day. You probably could have picked 1 or 2 of those if you're Oregon, and you're going to go back and try to be a little bit better. But I think this defense is really stingy. They don't beat themselves. They haven't put themselves in too many bad situations. They're getting the job done.
And it's only going to get more impressive for Oregon if they continue to rack up wins like this. They've got another tough challenge coming up for them next week. Still